everybody, and welcome to another episode of Planet Coaster. Today we've finished the building. I've finished it since the last episode, and today we're going to be working on the station building and sort of the final scenes of the ride, which you'll find out about later. Now, I have done also some work on the rock work since the last episode, as you can see. I put a few extra bits around and messed around with sort of the texture of the rocks and stuff. So as you can see, what happens now is sort of this, it goes inside the buildings itself, sort of the train. So I think what we'll do first, I've also added some trees in, by the way, we will have a ride on this coaster itself. What I will do to make sure we start from the start is I'll exit test mode and go back into it again. So now what we can do is... it still seems to be... Right, so there we go. Here we are. So what happens is you go in this building and there's all crates and stuff there, and also empty mine park type thing, and then we enter the lift hill. I will upload this part once it's done to the Steam Workshop, by the way, so you guys can go and look at it and do what you want with it as well. Maybe there's bits you want to change and stuff, so it'll be in the Steam Workshop, so you can do that once it's finished. But yeah, so we enter this first drop. As you can see, there's sort of rock work on the left. Then we go up, and then we're going to go back in the building. And I've actually made it so it looks like there's smoke coming out of a barrel if something's like set on fire or something. And there's also an effect that it goes sort of out the roof as well. So I did that just to add to the experience. So as you can see, we come down this little mountain thing, and then the packages are going to go into like a warehouse sort of here. No, they're not, sorry, not a warehouse, I mean like a mine. But what we're going to do, it is on the same level, but I did that deliberately because I want to have to add like a lift hill to go back up. So what I'm going to somehow make it look like is sort of build the terrain in the mine sort of low down, and sort of not make it too obvious. Like, you will kind of be able to tell, but as you're in a mine and then you sort of round that corner are entering sort of back out again. But it is going to be a bit tricky to sort of do that effect, but I will do the best I can, and it will involve work obviously out of videos and in time lapses, which we're going to go into in a minute actually. Sorry about that. Once we sort of started this station building, and I've talked a bit more about some of the bits that I want to talk about. Okay then, so we are again going to use the natural wood, and before I actually start that, I will actually show you sort of the outside of the building, which you don't see a ton of on the coaster, but obviously when you're off ride and stuff you'll see all this. So I added all windows around here, sort of quite run down windows. There's no windows on the inside, but that's just a little sort of effect to kind of make it look like a building. Like those windows have no function whatsoever. And I'll show you the little effect on the ceiling as well, which is just there. And I'll also go inside the building where sort of the coaster enters. Acts as a bit of a head chopper as well, which is sort of what I wanted. So it sort of again whizzes through the building. And I actually did this on the upper floor, so that is the roof and the bottom bit there, as you can see. And I've added all the crates and barrels. So yeah, I've done quite a bit of work since the last episode. And what's cool is I've done this little effect with the barrel, like the smoke coming out kind of thing, but you can't actually tell from here really that there's something in it. And what it's done that's cool, it's made it look like there's like a little hole that sort of smoke's coming out, which is sort of cool, but you can't actually tell that there's sort of a dispenser in there. Actually look like the barrel is on fire, which is cool. Anyway then, let's get to work. The station building, as I said, is very similar design, and we are going to be using the station grid, as you can see. So I'm just searching for the wall here, and then we can sort of start building. There we go. So in the inside of here, there's not going to be as much sort of theming as on the outside, but yeah, there's still going to be a bit of theming. Now we'll add a door eventually, sort of an arch, not a door, sort of an arch to the entrance of the station, but I haven't decided where that's going to be yet. It's probably going to be near where sort of the train sets off, so around this sort of area. And obviously I'm going to put the arch there that lets you sort of exit. And then, so it is going to be a bit lower down than sort of the warehouse, but hopefully that won't matter too much. And same with this side, because the station I've used for this is the one where you get on the ride on one side and you exit on the other. So yeah, that's sort of the effect we're going for. So in terms of theming on the inside of here, I'm probably going to add sort of a few more barrels, and also, of course, the, what do you call it? Trying to think now. Barrels, shovels, pickaxes, a few crates, that sort of thing. I've just noticed actually that wall is, I did that wall a bit wrong, so what I'll do is do it like that, and then wall itself, because I'll get rid of these walls here. And then sort of do yeah, I'll make the walls like that, then I'll sort of, on this end I'll do another arch thing and then sort of build from that, which I think will be a better way to do it. So like that, and then I'm going to add my arch and then quickly build those walls over there. I'll show you a bit of theming, which I'll do outside of a time lapse, because you didn't get to see that properly last episode. Then I'll probably go into time lapse for doing sort of the windows and stuff, and then we'll start the next bit. Oh. Right, there we go. So what I'm going to do now is add a bit of theming. The roof will be done in a time lapse because roofs can take a bit of time to do, but what I will do is I'm going to add a bit of theming in here. It'll just be a few crates and stuff, so nothing too major, but it will add to the experience. So what you need to do to get that sort of theming is you're in scenery. I might have shown you a bit of this last episode, I don't remember, but I definitely showed you how to set it to that, which I've just done. So you can put all these crates and stuff. I might actually put this in because I've not put this on the ride yet. So if I put that sort of box there, so we got a little fire box there. See what else we got that we can add. I'll add a few more crates around here. And there is actually an option to put them in a row, but I'm not going to do that here. I want it to look sort of more random, and then put a few more on here. These are just random bits of theming. They don't mean much, but you just sort of look good, kind of. Oh, and there's not as much room on this side of the station, so it's a bit harder to do stuff like that. Oh. Accidentally deleted something there. And you can also use... Oh. You can also use these on the walls, which will look good. Can we align to... Oh, it's because the line to surface is I want it to align to a surface. I actually can't see whether that's off or on. Sorry about that, guys, because it was on the video. It's hard to see because it goes sort of off the screen, kind of. And I'm not sure why. So I'll probably add a couple of more of these on, and then I will fast forward for a bit. What does that look like sticking out? Seen what that looks like, sort of stuck out the wall. Actually, I don't like that. Don't really like those. I think it's because it wasn't aligned to the surface. But I will fix that. Let's see what it does now when I put it on the wall. Right, that looks better. That actually looks quite cool with the pickaxes sort of stuck out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fast forward into time lapse and add a bit more theming, and then do sort of the roof and the windows and stuff. So I'll see. Okay, so I've done some more work to the building, and I think that time lapse, if you watched it carefully, just goes to show that Planet Coaster involves a lot of trial and error. As you can see there, I took scenery away, put scenery back, messed around with the rooms a bit, looking through sort of different things, and yeah. Now, because that took as much time as it did, I was going to move on to putting the windows in and stuff, but I thought I'd move on to the next bit, just because it's going to be a bit more sort of exciting for you guys to watch. So we'll do that, but before we do that, I thought I'd just go in here and show you, because I did this roof sort of a bit differently to how I did the last one, and that's just because I didn't have another floor to add, so I sort of added in this roof here, which is sort of like open instead of a flat bit and then a roof. It's sort of open, like sort of more of a shed type. There is still windows and obviously the outside bits to do on that yet, but like I just said, as I think the next bit will be a bit more exciting. I decided to go on to that. So as you can see, I sort of, because I have minecarts kind of in the shed and stuff, I've kind of put them down the side of here, like they're waiting to be loaded onto the track to be taken away. Obviously you don't ride on them minecarts, but it's just a bit of scenery. There's random sort of shovels and spades and mining tools sort of hanging around, and I might actually go back in and put sort of, yeah, a few more of them, edit them around and stuff maybe. But yeah, they're just sort of hanging there, bits of scenery. Might not look as realistic as I wanted that bit, but it's better than having nothing there, certainly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over here to where the end bit. This is actually going to be made out of the same rock work as I made put around the rest of the ride, but like I did, sorry, I'm going to do the scenery sort of first, but for me to be able to do that, I am going to need to move up a bit of the terrain, or else that will be very tricky, and I want to make sure I'm placing it on the terrain. And I will time lapse a bit of this, but this is actually a good opportunity for me now to show you how to do triggering events, and that's what we're going to do now. And I do want to do that at my normal recording speed, just to sort of give you guys a bit of a tutorial. Now it's going to be quite difficult for me to get onto the triggers, as like I said at the beginning of the video, it moves off the camera, it cuts off some of the screen, but I did it first go, which is good for me. So what I'm going to do is you click add trigger, and that's adding a trigger. Now basically, if you didn't know already, but I think I kind of explain this a bit now, triggers are things that sort of set off events. So on dark rides they're a key thing, but there's no reason why you can't put them on coasters. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to move this trigger to where we want the explosion to be, because that's what's going to trigger it. So we want to put it sort of just before the explosion itself, so that the riders can see and hear it. So we want sort of the explosion to happen right where it, yeah, we want, you can play around with this sort of moving things around. So now let's say we put the trigger here. That's going to trigger the explosion, which happens right next to where the track's going to bank. And hopefully you'll be going that fast that this will just flow through nicely. We are going to try this sort of riding round before we build up the terrain, just so that's done. And if we don't get to that stage, then I might just do that off camera, because you're not missing anything me raising up terrain, because it's going to be like a tunnel, kind of like I've done around the ride a bit. So what you need to do now is you need to go into scenery and basically look for the thing you want. Now there are different types of explosions, but because we're doing a western theme, we're going to do the western explosion, which is here, I believe. There we go. Now this I might do before I raise the terrain up, because it doesn't matter whether this is on the terrain or not. So what I want is I'm gonna try and raise this up to about, where should I have it? I want the riders to be able to see it clearly. Like, I want it above track level, because otherwise they're not going to see it. I don't want it right on the track, because that wouldn't be realistic. We want it sort of right next to the track. Let's see, if I put it on the track, then it will give me a good judgment of whether they're going to see it or not. Right, I think there will be alright. Maybe raise it up to about there. So that should be alright. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So it does kind of cover the track a bit, but it's not happening quite on it. So that should be fine there. So we can exit that, and then what we need to do is, and this is another reason why I have not done it. after the terrain is if we go in here, back into triggers. What we need to do now is we click edit triggers, and then you need to click add object to trigger. I can't believe this track's actually only 718 meters long or whatever it said. It really is not a long ride, but like I said in the last episode, the experience will make up for it. It is quite a heavily themed ride, or it will be when it's done anyway. Now, I might actually move that up a bit. I didn't realise how close to the ground that was. So if we do that... I forgot that they don't have the same grid as like the other... what you call it, have. And we can't see the explosion going off anymore because that's... trying to find words. That's because it's attached to a trigger, it's only going to go off as the train goes past. Sort of there will work. So you come through there and then there's sort of an explosion there. Right, now what we need to do is raise up the terrain. And the terrain will be covering that, by the way. There we go. I think that's quite a good. So let's watch it again. There we go. That looks alright, I think. What I might actually do is I'm going to jump on a train quickly. Oh. Let's see. Nah, it might be a bit... might actually be a bit late. Might actually just go round again. Oh. It's only a short ride anyway. Let's see. I'm trying to get on a train that's... There we go. Right, it shouldn't be too long now because this is such a short ride. I think that is pretty short. Like, the explosion's in the right place. I think it's just because the trigger is a bit early. So, yeah. Let's watch it again now. Yeah, that's way too early. I think the trigger needs to be much earlier. Anyway, I'll edit that later. Let's just raise the terrain up quickly and then we'll do a bit more theming. Mainly just going to be similar to what there's already been, apart from the minecarts, so sort of going to be full. Oh. There we go. There we go. So that terrain's now pretty much raised up. It does need to be raised up a bit more at the sides, but yeah. Yeah, that explosion is definitely too late. So I believe if we cover that up, it should still go off. There we go. So what we're going to have around here is sort of... It's going to start before here. Pretty much there you're going to go inside and sort of see things. Oh. So let's see from down there. So you're going to see a couple of full sort of mine carts, which I'll go in and do now. Or the locomotive things, whatever they're called. What I might do is do a bit of the track, if it will let me. Right, this terrain needs to be a bit more around the sides, that's why it's so difficult. Like that. It is very, very hard doing this, so please do bear with me. Because I mean, I want a bit of scenery at least. There we go. I'm going to have to be worried that there is a queue line there, but I might actually do the last bit of the queue line there, so it's going to be sort of in a building, so we just raise this up like that, and that should work. And I will need to smooth all this out as well. So this end scene could actually take longer than I thought. But yeah, this is all going to get smoothed out. So that's what it looks like for now. I'll actually do a bit more up here, raising this up. And then we'll probably call it a day for this video, because this will take me a while, and next video I'll have this all done and covered up nicely. Because obviously it is a mine, so we don't want sort of too much theming, because it's a mine and it's meant to be quite area, sort of no one around, but obviously we do want sort of couple of trains on mine tracks and stuff, and dynamite as well, which we haven't had that much of down through the ride yet. Anyway, it has been an action-packed video today. We have done a lot, but yeah, that's the end of another video. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. There will be more to come very soon. Thank you for watching. See you all next.